Hello, this is Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Leading health experts say care provision in England is being increasingly rationed and is failing to meet the needs of the elderly. Good morning. First, our main story. The care system in England is failing to meet the needs of an increasing number of vulnerable older people. Support they currently receive is dependent on where they live and what they can afford.
That's the conclusion of a report by two leading health and social care think tanks. They warn that the pressures caused by funding cuts and staff shortages mean it's only a matter of time before a major home care provider goes out of business. Here's more from our social affairs correspondent Alison Holt.
Just looking ahead, in a few minutes' time, we'll be asking one of the authors of that report what needs to happen to improve access to care. That's coming up in around 10 minutes.
Now, a deal to build a nuclear power station in Somerset is understood to have been approved by the government, subject to certain conditions.
A decision on Hinkley Point C was deferred by Theresa May in July, but an announcement is now expected in the next few days. Let's cue.
The BBC should reveal details of all employees and presenters who are paid more than £150,000 a year. This according to the government.
The clause on high salaries is part of the draft for a new BBC charter, which will be published later today. Our media correspondent David Sillito reports. Yes, now it's time we'll be speaking to Daryl Martin, whose brother Lee was killed by a driver who was using a mobile phone at the time. That's coming up at 8:10.
The World Anti-Doping Agency has confirmed that the confidential medical records of 5 British athletes, including Chris Froome and Sir Bradley Wiggins, have been leaked by Russian computer hackers. WADA said that those behind the attack were criminals who were attempting to smear the reputations of athletes, and said that the hacks were an act of revenge for exposing state-sponsored doping in Russia. There's no suggestion of wrongdoing by the British athletes.
Britain's Paralympians won 9 gold medals yesterday, bringing their total to 43. The Hall easily beats their tally of 34 at London 2012.
Hannah Cockcroft, Dame Sarah Story and Kadina Cox all won their second gold medals of the Rio Games, while Britain's swimmers added another 3. Alex Gulrajani rounds up the action. Time now is 12 minutes past 7. Elderly people are bearing the brunt of cuts to social care. This according to a new report. Now, most of us will need some kind of care when we're older, whether it's help with daily tasks such as washing and dressing, or round-the-clock support in a care home. But unlike the NHS, that help isn't free. 3/4 of us living in England will face care costs after the age of 65, and for some, those care costs can be incredibly high. 1 in 10 of us face the prospect of paying out more than £100,000. And despite the population getting older, councils are increasingly having to ration care. The number of people getting council help has fallen by 1/4 in 4 years. Now, the government was due to introduce a cap on the amount that you pay for care at £72,000 this year. That's been delayed until 2020. So the picture in England, that's it. There are differences in Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, but still one thing is agreed. More money is needed across the UK. We can talk to Richard Humphreys, who's from the King's Fund and is one of the report's authors and joins us now from our London newsroom. Thanks very much for talking to us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What does need to be done then to ensure that older people don't have enough provision, for those of us who can afford it, for our own care when we're older? Shouldn't we be taking some responsibility for that? Taking a look at care homes themselves and the costs that they're facing in terms of the minimum wage and ensuring they have the correct staff. Can you talk to us about the concerns you have about those? Has launched a guide to the care system wherever you live in the UK, and you can find out flick and everything. OK, now we're going to cut away because it's getting a bit weird.
That was something else entirely,
that was something
wasn't it?
completely different.
I don't know what that was. Oh,
Funky given, we're being told.
7:23 is the time.
Right. In a few hours, the UKIP leadership contest will draw to an end, with the ballot of party members closing at midday. Now, the new leader will then be announced. That will be at the party's conference tomorrow afternoon.
Whoever wins will have big shoes to fill following the departure of Nigel Farage. Our political correspondent, Ellie Price, has been looking at the challenges facing the new leader of the party.
Hello, this is Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Time is 7:30. Our main stories this morning. Leading health experts have warned the social care system is failing to meet the needs of the elderly as financial pressures force councils to restrict the number of people they can help. The Anti-Doping Agency has confirmed the confidential medical records of 5 British athletes, including Chris Froome and Sir Bradley Wiggins, have been leaked by Russian computer hackers.